Good evening and welcome everyone to another episode of our City of Mist campaign, The Reaper Soldiers. This is once more Mr. JP Stilts, and I am so happy to be back with all of our players. All 5, that's correct. It is amazing to have all of you back, so thank you for spending some time tonight. I'm really looking forward to dive back into the madness that is going on here. Last time we were here, it was a Tuesday. We finally got the crew back together. Everyone had a chance to go over to the Sova stronghold, have a chance to talk with Yasmin a little bit, met Mother Nora. They were going through the list that you all supplied them to see who was here within their house. The full building had probably about 500 people in it. Most of the public from the West Slum seems to have moved here. And while you were doing that, you kind of learned a bit more about why this place seems to be safe. There's a specific kind of blessing salt or oils that Mother Nora is using around all of the windows, the doors, and it seems to be keeping Samuel and his gang at bay. Yasmin, when confronted with the news that, hey, you know what, your dad, you know, the guy that you thought died a little while ago, yeah, he's still alive, and he's kind of the asshole that's will bring in all these dead to your doorstep. She handled it in probably not all that well. No, just instead decided to charge off to go confront poor old daddy. Most of the crew went with her back to the cemetery. Blanche flew for the first time to the library to try to find some more information. Yasmin got to the tomb that her father was working in. There was a discussion, there was disgust, and comes to find out there was another person there, a man named Henry, an older man, member of the Sova, that she was able to convince her father to release to her. He had been badly tortured. Portion of the skin from his chest had been carved off, and he was bleeding. Everyone, while hesitant to leave, helped to at least get them to the boat. In the meantime, Blanche was looking over some books, trying to figure out, okay, we've heard about veterans. We know that there is a war. Let's get some more details about that. Unfortunately, didn't come across a ton of information other than about 15 years ago. There's a good 2 or 3 years that just seems to be missing, unaccounted for, just not there. She was also referencing kind of the city, the history of the city, and more specifically signs, signals, things like that. And she came across a book, a historical account of a mixture of just the weird and strange, you know, almost fairy tales. But within it, there was a symbol of a standing stone. And on the standing stone, it had a peculiar marking on it. As we come back in, Blanche, you're still standing there, you know, in the process of just about to close the book and place it back on the shelf when you hear a familiar voice within your head. Yes, that is it. You've seen it as well. The voice of Melville rings between your ears. You know what it is that I am looking for. You will help me find it. Your friends just paid me a visit, brought my daughter along. It's quite lovely to see her, but it is clear she is not strong enough to survive seeing more loss, which is reasonable. You're special. I can tell. Hell, you got over to the library and what was that? Were those wings? Yes. You will help me find the one that bears this mark. Bring them to me and all the violence will end. Everyone will be returned. In fact, those that have lost, my employer will make sure that they're returned to the family as if nothing had happened.
I'm just gonna ignore him and keep reading.
Right. Yeah, the passage, it's, again, referencing these tribes from thousands of years ago. Again, it seems that there was some burial site or something that they came across. And while there wasn't this standing stone, there were maybe cave markings or some kind of drawing that had this symbol on it. There were a lot of wars, tribal battles that occurred thousands of years ago. Seems like everybody was just trying to get to the spot where the city now sits, that this was prime land. A lot of it was just because of the running water. It was good places to grow things, reasonable, to be able to create a defense, to help protect your tribe. But there was just a lot of infighting. As you kind of look, you have a moment to just look around the library. It's starting to get later in the evening. The sun's starting to draw, and it's giving that beautiful golden glow on everything. You kind of look, and the windows still almost new, clean, freshly polished. Just allow this entire space to just glow with that radiance. But you notice there's so many shelves still empty. There's not as many people. That it just needs more people inside. You can see a few men making their way in after hard work. There's still some kids that are probably there. You probably have some kind of program where you have a person that comes and reads to the children, or kind of some activities like that. And that's probably in the process of wrapping up. It's around dinner time, so kids are probably just getting out of that, ready to head home.
I'm gonna pack up my notes, send the books back to the stacks,
right,
and go to the front desk to have them send for a cart to take me, or a carriage to take me home.
Absolutely. Yeah, the desk worker sees you, smiles. Absolutely, they're familiar with this, so they go out.
This is routine.
Exactly. Yeah, they probably have a specific place that they go to fetch a cart. It might even be a bell or something that they ring outside, just to notify that. And you're probably not the only one that actually takes carts away from here. There's just a specific kind of cart that you would take, compared to the general public. But yeah, absolutely. So they go outside and they begin to ring the bell to call your cart, and you have a moment to, again, gather your thoughts and prepare for that to arrive. Falling away from kind of the serenity of that scene, we come to the rushing waters of the river. A boat tied up to some rocks and some logs, and Yasmin and Henry being lifted and placed in it. We have Eric, Georgie, Mike, and William all standing on the shore, helping to load Henry into the boat. Again, an older man, just looks weary, worn out. You see the markings on his body, a lot of bruising. It looks, if anything, this man was beat, punched, bludgeoned. The only visible blood comes from that place on his chest. Now the blood dried, no longer dripping, but seems to have scabbed over maybe a few days ago. As they enter the boat, Yasmin goes and reaches her hand to help Georgie get on the boat, and starts trying to get the rest of you on there. Do you go with?
Are we just leaving after what they've done to him?
We need to get Henry home. Mother Nora can care for him. I already told you I will return to deal with my father, but right now Henry is first priority. We have to get him home. I don't believe my father's going any fucking where, so I will return as soon as Henry is cared for.
Alright, get on the boat then.
Yeah, he needs treatment first and foremost.
Do all of you get on the boat then?
I do.
Yeah.
Mike's gonna kind of whisper to William aside. Want to go back? I mean, we can. Do we just shove the boat and send them back? Sounds good.
Everybody's looking at us. We're just smiling.
Just
Bye.
watching you two.
See you later, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, sure, we'll stay. I'll stay.
Okay, I mean, Eric and Georgie, you see both boys, like, they quickly get to the side of the boat and just, you know, with Mike's large frame, he just begins to push it in. I would say you have a moment. If you want to accept this, no problem. You'll head back with Yasmin. But if not, you have an opportunity to get out of the boat and stay with them.
I'm going to stay on the boat. She's going to need a hand getting Mr. Injured back to getting healed. So, as tempted as I am to stay, I do have to prioritize things a little.
I'm already on the boat. I'm not getting
Right.
off. It was a hassle, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as the boat like gets lurched, you see Yasmin almost kind of fall down, still supporting Henry. Just looks at you, kind of shaking her head, but she doesn't have time to argue. And again, Henry's her top priority. So as it's drifting away, she kind of looks. Just do what you must. I will return. Thank you, she says, kind of through clenched teeth.
Huh? Yeah.
So,
Well,
as the boat begins to sail away, Mike and William, you look, and you're downhill a little bit from where the black iron gate is of the cemetery itself. Maybe a good 50, 60 yards. Not too far, but far enough that at the moment you're not seen. What would you like to do?
oh, this is your plan, Mike. Where are we going?
Plan, he says.
Quiet, you're on a boat.
Well, let's just march back in there like we did the first time.
All right, in we go.
Okay, so you go. You basically head to the back of the Black Ruins and start walking around to get to the front entrance. The Black Iron Gate only really having that one entrance at the very front. As you're wandering around, I mean, you can see in there. They haven't seemed to notice you yet. You haven't really crossed into kind of past the fence. But the dogs and the men are still patrolling. The larger man by Melville's tomb is back there. There's one of the men back by the tomb that Zona was captured in. Let me go ahead and drag you two over here.
Partial battle map.
You're just at the bottom of it. As you begin to get to the front of the gate, you do notice that one of these men, he actually looks more like a... he's... Yeah, you actually... I think, I'm trying to remember who was there. Who was there when Calvin killed that kid?
I was.
It's that kid.
Oh, of course it is. Why would
You
it
can
not be
still
that?
see like the marking on his forehead where he was just crushed by the door from the speeding wagon as it flew by.
Of course it is, yeah.
But yeah, you recognize this was another unfortunate victim of the crew, but he's standing here now. As soon as you notice that once you even start getting close to the door, his eyes are right towards you. He's just watching, seeing if you plan on entering or plan on passing by.
Does that kid ever have a name? Da-da-da.
I don't believe so. No, all that happened is he killed the kid. Those guys came out of the bar, and
We
Calvin
talked
convinced
about it.
them to not hurt him. And then the constables came in, and you guys all kind of left before the whole thing was really wrapped up.
Yeah, I remember. He just wanted to knock him over, and he killed him with a carriage door.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just walk up and say hi. Like, hey, I remember you.
As you begin to walk in, he kind of lumbers just in front of your path just to block your entrance further, and he just kind of stands there, his arms draping forward a bit, just looking at you, kind of swaying back and forth.
So it's like, hey, yeah, sorry my friend did the thing. I want to get in there and talk to your boss. Yeah, I was afraid of that.
I'm just standing, swaying, staring.
I'm gonna try and walk past him.
As you go by, I mean, he's not a big guy at all, but he reaches his arm out just to kind of try to grab you like a bodyguard or a bouncer when you're trying to get into the club, just to stop you from going further.
He's not putting up any resistance or anything right now aside from that, right?
I mean, he's not actively trying to attack you. It's more just a stop, like a warning.
So I could just pick him up and throw him.
Sure.
Yeah. This
I
is
leave
your
you
fault,
guys
Mike.
for a couple of hours.
I'm gonna pick him up and throw him. Just out of my way.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna say that this is definitely. I mean, he already has his arm on you. What do we want to say this is here?
But he's a little kid.
He is a little kid,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think this is a go toe to toe. And
Yeah,
I mean,
of
it's just
course
gonna
it
be like he's gonna try to grab on, and you never know. In the meantime, like, Mike, do you follow him in, or are you just kind of watching what William does?
I'd be pretty much right next to him.
Okay.
You can move your token, Mike. It's okay. Don't be afraid to touch it. You can do it face on. Nope. Okay.
Bloop.
Well, then I'm gonna use some super speed and some strength to carry booyah and some martial arts and just kind of chuck him.
Okay. Well, as you go to chuck him, you just get that tingle down your spine that, like, you remember that bark, that death murmur tag that you have. You just feel like this is a bad, dangerous thing. So, yeah, go ahead and.
Oops. Negative, not a plus. There we go.
Yeah.
So let's go toe to toe. Take this. Oh well. This
Okay.
is your fault, Mike.
So you still get to choose one. So it's a power of 2. You're going to throw him. Yeah, I mean.
Yep, I'm gonna throw him. All right. I'm gonna achieve my goal. I'm gonna throw him.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you grab him and you just go to toss him. I'm gonna say that as he's going, like, he just tries to grab onto you. So I'm gonna have you face danger of just like a scratch status, as his fingernails haven't been trimmed for a while, and he's just trying to grab on as he goes flying.
Okay, we're gonna use this one, and why are my cards so blurry? Never figured that out.
What
And
tags are you using?
Using predict the foe's next move and indomitable, and yeah, I'll just use those two.
Okay.
And then face to the danger. Danger of
Okay.
haste.
Yeah. So you don't have any other injured. He just nicks you, like he just, it's a nick 1 status, as you just feel his fingernail kind of scratch across your face, and it's kind of nasty. Like it burns as it goes across. As soon as he lands, well, Mike, you just notice the place immediately fills with that tension. The man and the dog that are over here on the left-hand side, like, they hear the thud and they start making their way down this left side fence.
We gotta move fast, Mike.
Yeah, you have a moment. This guy's down on the ground here. These guys are moving across. Again, they can't go super fast. The dog's definitely pulling the man, trying to investigate. But unfortunately, the man is not walking that well. His joints seem to be a bit stiff. But they're definitely making their way. So, Mike?
Well, let's book it in. See if we can get back to
Go
to where they were talking with the what's his face.
Yeah, so
I don't know
Here?
which building it was.
this one.
Okay. Are you guys trying to sneak in at this point, or are you just rushing? Like, are you
I'm
trying to get
following.
past, basically, once you get past this gate, you have about a 4-foot fence, that stone fence. Some of it's crumbled, that goes up and around. These coffins, some are raised, some are not.
I'm just following Mike.
Not like super fast, but like a brisk pace. Not making like a ton of noise, but
Okay. I'm gonna basically, as you get to this point, I'll let you make the decision. Like, you can absolutely see that there's at least the big guy. He's still standing at the front door. It's unclear if he's heard you quite yet, but you both notice that he has a sidearm on his pocket, or on his hip. So
boys,
at this
so do
point,
I.
like, you've been able to get this far, but going any further, he's probably gonna notice.
Well, I'm gonna adjust my constable's helmet and get ready. Because I still have that. Haha.
You do. And you have a few more rounds in your revolver as well.
I do. But we're following Mike. We're seeing what's happening.
So, Mike, you see the guy at the front.
let's charge him.
Okay, so you go
That's-
charging in.
Sounds about right.
I'm gonna say, yeah, this is another go toe to toe, as basically as you try to get in there and get control over him, he's gonna hear you coming and try to just pull and draw his arm.
I got a help point. I'm gonna use that.
Okay, so you can spend it like juice for change the game. What are you trying to do? How are you helping him?
So I'm gonna go and, he's rushed him. I'm just gonna try and grab the guy too. Just kind of like at least grab for the gun.
Okay, so basically you'll add a +1 to his status if he inflicts a status.
All right. You can do it, Faison. Yep, Faison's already dead.
No, I'm not dead.
you sure?
Were you doing a help point as well?
So depending on, he would give you a bonus to the actual status you inflict.
Okay.
Yeah, not to the roll.
Okay, so I got bullet time and I know kung fu.
All right, get in there.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not bad.
Same thing. So as you both go in there, I mean, this guy's pretty big. You both kind of wrap him up and begin kind of tussling on the back of this wagon, this coffin carrier. As soon as that happens, this other guy goes to basically start pushing against the wagon, and it starts to turn the wagon a little bit, kind of pushing it close to the entrance of the door. It seems like he's trying to position the wagon with you on it to just block the door a bit. And it's just kind of... Sorry, I keep getting a lot of my own voice in my head. Got to turn you down a little bit, Faison.
Yeah, see if that helps. If it doesn't, let me know.
Audio test. I don't hear anything now. I don't know what's going on.
Test. Okay, that sounds better. Yeah, awesome. Kind of. I just have to not be so loud, I guess.
Oh, here, let me turn
Yeah,
it.
you are kind of
I'm-
loud today, Stilts.
I'm
Might be
sorry.
closer to the microphone.
I'm just gonna go to
Just
push to talk, so
go
that way
like
it's not
that.
a problem.
There we go.
So you both charge in. You get this big guy pinned to the back of the coffin. Immediately, this other one goes to shove the coffin to try to position it in front of the door, when the door just slams open. And, well, wouldn't you know, Melville's standing there. He walks outside, seeing you both all on top of one of his men, and just whistles. You feel kind of the grasp of this large man kind of release from both of you, and he kind of drops back. I thought you two had gone away with my daughter. No, you want to continue to cause ruckus here. All right. Kind of points to his men to move them out of the way, and he walks forward, closing the door behind him, stand in front of you, places his hand in front of him, just kind of looks. I know it was you two that were at the church yesterday. You seem to be eager to take on anything that is thrown at you. That's a great and honorable trade, but it is all meaningless, so I must just ask you, what is it that you two plan to do exactly?
Shoot for the suplex.
Shoot him now.
While
He's giving his evil speech.
shoot him while he monologues.
So, as you go to pull your weapon, unfortunately Melville here has a special move. When
I'm
you
sure he does.
attack or threaten Melville, you first take threatened 3 or injured 3, MC's choice. This boy's been to war. He knows that you have a gun there. He can see it. He's got a nasty one too, and unfortunately, he's a bit faster than you. You go for a shot in the gut, and instead you face taking one yourself. Go ahead and face danger against an injured 3 status as his gun goes off before yours.
I've got predictive foes, next move, super speed, and indomitable, yay! Face the danger where I get shot in the stomach. Yep. Why would I not?
So, yeah, go ahead and
I
just...
forgot I was on push to talk. I said I wanted to help him before he rolled.
Oof. Well...
Oh well.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got things for this. It's okay. Where is it? Which one is it? Yeah.
It's like your cat skills or whatever.
Yeah, do try to keep up. rolls a 6 or less, and the MC makes a move, I can make a single additional move before the MC's move takes place.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep. So, let's see. We're going to... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that helmet in front of my stomach so it blocks the shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a take the risk then.
Yeah, so... I can't use the same tags?
Correct.
Doesn't that suck? What did I use? Alright. So... Guess it's just a straight roll then, it'll be okay. You said face danger?
Take the risk.
Take the risk, yeah, okay. Taking the risk! Ah! Aha!
Indeed. Somehow you do. You go to pull the gun, and his gun goes off, and with your other hand, you just instinctively grab the helmet and put it in front of where the bullet goes. It hits the bullet, and it's not a very good bullet. That story tag's gone, as it just pierces through it and just ruins the helmet. He stands there now with his pistol in hand, still smoking, looking at both of you. Children. Children. There's no meaning for this. Put away. Put your gun away. We can talk.
I still shoot him.
You go to fire again. Okay. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, I'm going to ask before you do. I mean, as this happens, Mike, what are you doing?
Wait, wasn't I in the process of firing the gun anyways? Wouldn't it?
You didn't pull the gun out yet. Like, as your hand moved towards your weapon, he fired.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't do that. I thought I was in the process of...
You were going
Like,
to.
kinda
Like,
get
that
him-
was your
oh.
thought, but it's like he read your mind, and before you got the shot off, he was there.
Oh, okay.
Mike?
So, if both of us go at the same time, does he get that ability on both of us or just one of us?
He's only one, so I'm gonna say he, yeah, it depends on what you're doing. His whole thing is that he's watching your every move, so chances are he's only gonna be able to threaten kind of one of you.
I mean, I already know what Faison's thinking, and I like it.
Yeah.
I want to pull my katana.
Yeah, there it is.
Basically, I want to kind of split his focus and confuse him for this part.
Okay.
So, as Spoon's going to shoot him, I'm going to astrally project myself with the katana behind him.
Right. Behind Melville or behind who's him?
Yeah,
Some-
behind Melville, sorry.
Okay.
There it is.
It's going to be a couple moves there to roll the katana and then project, but
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down to the change of the game, because you see, again, what we're seeing here is as the first gunshot goes off, this is Mike's reaction, so you want to get your katana and have the clone there, basically. So that's what we're trying to change the game for here first.
Okay, so the create a weapon, kung fu, and bullet time. And so change the game.
Correct. All right. So, yeah, you can go ahead and I'm going to say what we can do here. You can definitely create your story tag. So again, with these story tags, when you don't get the +10,
Yeah.
they are just a temporary, which means that they have limited uses with that. So what we could actually use this for is just to say that with that success, if you want to spend all 3 power, I would say that getting the distraction back there with your katana, you wouldn't actually have your katana in hand, but your clone would have it. That's enough that I would say that his special move, that violent tendencies move, it would remove that. So that would be what you're kind of spending this on. You're
basically
burning
a full
that,
distraction.
right? Yeah, you're burning that tag, basically. So
Sounds good.
okay.
Which tag?
So that would be his violent tendencies
Okay.
tag. So that special move that he had today.
Perfect.
But see, now I'm conflicted.
So this movement appears behind him, and instinctively he turns to fire, and he does. He fires into your clone, and it dissolves. But with that, like, there's enough confusion here that he's not exactly sure what that was. The zombies around, these other men around, they aren't making a move yet. It seems like he's kind of told them, wait this out, he has it under control. But you can tell that just with that clone right there, he has something he doesn't understand. And that's when you start to hear the growling coming from the dogs at either side of the walkway. But you have a moment. His back is towards you. The 2 other zombies, they're still just standing there, watching him. The growling starting to pick up from the dogs, as if the dogs might be recognizing the situation. But you have a moment where he's facing away.
I'm so conflicted now.
Do it.
I was gonna shoot him, but now I just want to kind of feed on him. Ah,
Roll a D2.
I have an actual dice to roll here. Let me see. Call it the dice of fate. Hold on just a second. Oh boy. So I'm going to feed on him.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
You dive in to get
Straight for the
to his neck. Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a hit with all you've got there.
So that's super speed. Gonna use Ultimate Fighter, and I'm gonna use Predict the Foe's next move, because I'm gonna that he's turning, and I want to get in there before he turns, but I'll be able to.
Yeah, I mean that death murmur still it's still there. You're still thinking this might be a bad idea. This guy was already dead.
What was that? That was a change the game, or
This is a hit with all you've got. I'm gonna
Hit
say
with all
that
I've got.
gave you enough of an opening here, as you just try to charge in and chomp down.
Eh,
All right.
I can live with that, I guess.
So what are the 2 you're gonna select there? Or I guess it's 1 with just a power. Yeah. So what's status?
I think I'm gonna get him good.
Okay. So in that case, it's a tier 3. What is the status like?
Probably drained.
So as you dive in to take a bite, unfortunately Melville has another special move, and you find
course he does.
yourself sucking down on the nasty, rotted blood of the zombie that had been pushing the cart as he dives in front of your open mouth, pushing Melville out of the way. It's just bad. It's just bad news, bears. It doesn't taste good.
Embalming fluid.
Yeah, it tastes almost like ash. Like there's very little there. Mike, again, you see this happen. The zombie just dives in front of Melville, stopping William from getting too close. As that happens, you start to hear the dogs getting louder with their growls. Mike, you weren't here last time. These dogs, they have a churning. It sounds like the tectonic plates moving underneath the ocean before a massive eruption of lava spews from a volcano. It's a grinding, churning, deep sound. And you kind of turn quickly just to see where it's coming from. These Doberman-looking dogs, fairly large, dark. Their eyes, though, now that the sun's starting to fade, you notice they're kind of glowing. A bit of a light green, from what you can tell. They look angry. Their teeth are bared, their saliva dripping down their jowls. You just saw William bite down on a zombie. A zombie doesn't look very good. Not dead, but definitely, probably had a good chunk of his throat and a lot of flesh torn off with this.
Well, in the split second that this is all happening, as the zombie dove in front of him, I want to basically fly straight at him and basically pummel him into the building.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're just trying to end this one.
Yep, quarterback style takedown.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's another hit with all you've got here, because I think at this point he is definitely held in place, even if it is just a moment. Yeah, he dives, now you want to dive. Hit with all you've got. All right. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're probably just going to hit him, get him good as well.
Yeah, just do what I can.
Yeah, no, I mean, with that, hitting with a tier 4, you just split him. You just pull whatever William does not have in his mouth away from his form, mostly his head, which is a good thing. Just remove his head from like the neck up and knock him to the ground. Melville kind of steps away as this happens, and let's see. Yeah, as you land to the ground, again, you both are moving at fast speeds here. By this point, Melville has holstered his weapon, especially as the zombie moved in front of him. That was kind of his move to put his gun back away. And he sees you just completely eviscerate one of those zombies and kind of looks at it, a bit of disgust, almost seeming to be upset that this guy just kind of got split, but also he kind of took the shot for me. You both will not succeed here. Take my men away. Samuel will bring them back. There's nothing you can do to them or to me, but there is something I can do to you. You, and he points towards William, maybe still having the neck and head of the zombie in your mouth. You have heard what my beast can do. I have allowed them to remain calm for the time, but you continue to push your way here. If you're not willing to have a conversation, I will release them on you, and you will not leave this place until you're under my control.
See, he keeps monologuing. It's never good for bad guys to monologue. Well, let's see. The other guy's on the other side of the wagon, right?
Correct, yeah.
Can he... Where am I? I'm right here on this guy here, basically. Yeah. I'm gonna go after Mr. Monologue again. Keeps talking.
Charging in. Just drop the one head, charge into him.
I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay. Pull that gun out once more to go for a shot. I'm gonna say this is just a go toe to toe. Again, now he's not able to get the drop on you, but if he sees you pulling your gun, he's gonna try to fire back. And I mean, again, with firing firearms, unfortunately, that is not William's specialty. That
That's
yeah.
okay.
The outdated methods
That's okay.
come to play here.
So I'm gonna use some super speed. I don't really have anything else for a gun. So what is that? That's
Go to toe.
I'm gonna use the order as well. I'm assuming they gave me a little bit of firearms training, even though I don't like using them.
Sure.
And I'm not good with them. Alright, let's shoot him. Why did it not?
What's that?
It didn't use the order tech.
So it's an 8. Well, it's 2d6 plus 1.
Yeah, which would have been
that's not. Yeah, so it should be 8. No worries. It's still you choose one. He's planning to fire. So which one of those are you looking for here? Are you trying to injure him? So in that case, you can inflict a tier 1. You can see that he's about to fire and get out of his way. Use this as an opportunity to, okay.
No, I want to shoot him. I'm gonna get him.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot him.
Perfect. Yep. So go ahead and you fire. It's a bit shaky, and it hits his shoulder, and that kind of knocks his shot a little bit. Like it moves his body just enough that when he fires, it's off balance. Mike, you see this happen. Like you're there in between the two. You hear the gun shot ring off from William back behind you, and you see it, the gunshot go, and you have a moment to react just as the bullet releases the chamber. You're not as fast as you once were, but I mean, who knows? You still have like the remnants of this body kind of there beneath you.
Uh-huh.
I think while he's kind of off balance, I wanna try and take him down.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, in that case, I'm gonna have William face danger against a tier 1 shot as it's coming towards you, but go ahead and yeah,
So-
I think this is a hit with all you've got on Melville. So this is both happening kind of at the same time.
Super speed, indomitable. Definitely predict the foe's next move because I knew he was going to shoot me. Here goes that face danger, yeah. Ah. Hey! Dynamite!
Again, bullets are no problem. Okay, awesome. Yeah, you use his off balance to get over to him. Are you looking to just tackle him to the ground as well?
Yeah, basically hitting him square in the chest, just kind of take all the air out of his lungs.
Okay. So that would be what, a tier 4? What are the two that you're gonna pick?
That's not the right one. Where is it? This
Um, gain the upper hand, and
Where's the one?
probably secure a superior position.
Okay. So this is exactly what happens. You get over to him, you knock him down, kind of pin him up against a headstone. Your full weight kind of pressed against his chest, and your hand right around his neck, and you just have him held there. He gasps for air, kind of looks at you, smiles, and yeah, as that happens, that dog doesn't like that. No, the dog, you hear it.
I like puppies.
You do. You hear it, and William, like, you probably hear the sound of the wind being pulled in. You know this dog's about to bark. Like,
Where?
as this happens, you block the bullet. William flies over, grabs Melville, throws him up against a gravestone, and now this dog's been released and is about to bark.
So I'm looking something up real quick.
You do still have 3 clues from your occult studies.
Yeah.
Don't know if that could help at all.
Did I get a dynamite roll? Is that what that is? Don't I get something for that because I have a thing for it?
Do you have something for face danger?
I have an improvement for take a risk.
So it would only be on the specific move that you have. So if you roll a 12 plus on take the risk, then you would get the effects of that.
I thought I. Oh, I thought I. Oh, take. Okay, I can't read. Leave me alone.
I'm
Okay,
actually going to say before I'm going to let you figure that. You can tell the dog's about to bark. Blanche,
Okay.
the cart's arrived. Where were you planning on going?
Home.
All right.
Nothing special, just home. Sure, if I stay out too late, there are raised eyebrows. So.
Right. Yeah. As you begin to make your way kind of through the edge of the blue collar district, again, the sun begins to set a bit lower. Start to notice something. There's a bird. Not like a robin that you just were Looks more like a pigeon, maybe. It definitely seems to be following you.
Can I do something to try and figure out if it's actually following me or if I'm just being paranoid?
As you kind of wait till you get towards the edge of the blue collar district and you start getting through kind of the windier roads of the gated community, it's pretty clear this bird is not darting from tree to tree. This bird is just gliding above you, following your cart and every move, just as if it was on the road with you, back and forth, flaps.
Okay. Can I do something to stop it from following?
Sure. I mean, it's a bird. What would you... I guess, what would your thoughts go to be on how you would like to stop it, and then we can figure out how we would do that in here. I mean, you're in a cart. There might be something in the cart you could use. Throw it. You obviously know you have some certain qualities, but using that in the middle of the public could be dangerous. Even talking to the driver to change the route, or maybe find a good place to, a good shaded area or somewhere where this thing's not going to have as much of a visual on you.
The carriage that I'm in, I would assume it's one of the closed kind, right? It's got the windows, but
I don't think it's fully closed. It's one of those, forget the name of it. It's just a two-wheeled one that has the coverage up and over the top, but the front is kind of open. So it's protected by the wind, but it's one of those quicker vehicles, just to get you from here to there. I don't think it's as nice. Unless it came from your place, I don't think a lot of those super wealthy vehicles would be in the general blue-collar district. But it's definitely a nicer one. And that's why you've been able to see it, is maybe you saw it kind of dart ahead, and you just see it every once in a while kind of fly ahead just to allow it to glide backwards, and you stuck your head out and you just see, this pigeon seems to be following you around.
I want to try to weave a spell to blind it.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's
something nice and subtle.
What do we want to say here? That's I think that's a hit with all you've got. I don't think this bird necessarily has much it can do, and I don't think it's expecting to get hit by magic. So you just kind of reach into your pouch, you pull out some of your ingredients, and you go to cast a spell. Let's do that.
Yeah. It's not gonna be much, as far as pulling stuff out of my purse.
Mm-hmm.
Probably little seemingly mundane things, like a little bit of like a sprinkle of sand and a piece of cotton. Things that, if you were to get them in or on somebody's eyes would effectively render them blind.
Right.
To use as a focus. I'm going to use cast magic spells, patience and cunning, because I'm trying to be subtle about this, and the family manor, because that's where I do not want it to end up.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Let's see. Honestly, I kind of feel that the first one kind of works here. We can definitely apply a tier, but it seems like for the most part you're just trying to stop them from following you.
Yeah, I don't want them to see where I'm going.
Yeah, I think you take cover or secure a superior position so that they can't hit you back. Yeah, no, I think it's almost like there's just a brief flash from the sunlight glistening off of maybe a piece of a statue or, a bird bath or something, where Yeah, it just gets right in the bird's eyes, and it has to dart away, and you see it begin to fly kind of dazed off and over the buildings, and because of how fast your cart's going, in no time at all, you can tell you've outdistanced yourself from the pigeon. You arrive home. The driver lets you off kind of, you know, you allow them to bring you to the front door, or is it more at the gate to your land?
The gate, because it just the entryway is gated.
Right.
Based on what we've done in past sessions.
Right. So he kind of releases you there, wishes you a good night. You see that the light in the front dining room is lit. You can see your brothers sitting there, and there's a woman at the table with them, younger woman, blonde. Her hair is twisted and kind of tied up in braids, kind of up and high on her head. She wears looks like a light blue collared dress, very fancy, nice looking dress. And see your brother's, he's facing away from you, kind of looking towards this woman across the table, kind of leaning on the table, and they seem to be having a conversation. A bit of, you don't see any food, but a few drinks, maybe some wine, seem to be out in front of them.
Can I hear what they're saying?
As you enter in, they're talking about the day's work. Based off the conversation, it seems like she's someone that works with him at Imagidream.
Okay.
And I don't know how often you've been around your brother when he's courting women.
Oh.
You definitely hear that bit of chipper. The ego is definitely playing in quite a lot right now. He's just oozing with ego. And you can read the room. Like, she's there because, I mean, this is Elijah Astor. You can't say no when he requests you to come. But
can I tell based on her clothes if those are legitimately hers or if she borrowed them from like work?
Yeah, give this an investigate roll. Strange person in your house.
Okay, woman over time, impeccable appearance, and blood is thicker because this is all about protecting him.
All right, awesome. Oh boy, yeah.
Wait, why is that at 5?
I'm not sure. Oh, because you still had the
no,
cast...
it should have been 3. I forgot to take 2 of the things off. I'm really sorry about that.
That's fine. So that would have still been
it would have been a 3, power 3.
Yeah, so that would have been a 9?
Uh-huh.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. You would still then have your 3 clues, and with a 7 to 9, just some of them might be unclear. But yeah, you're looking at her clothes, trying to get an idea of they
Are they really
look
hers?
like stage.
Are they as rich as they look? Oh, they're stage.
They look like stage clothes.
What about the way she holds herself and the way that she speaks? Is this like she's putting on an act, like she's higher class than she really is, or does she look?
This seems like an actress who is very well trained.
But
think
still an
of
actress.
like it's hard to tell when is she acting, when is she not. You've probably seen women like this in the opera, in the theater, the ballet, where they know how to put on a smile, talk friendly, you know, maybe become even more appealing towards men of wealth. But there is her smile. There's occasionally times when your brother breaks away from his ego to just try to make a joke, or maybe it's when he stumbles over his words, and for a moment, like, there's the panic. Her smile seems sincere in those moments, like seeing past his hardened exterior, the fake exterior, the moments of real within the conversation. Her smile does appear to be very sincere.
Okay. I am going to duck into the kitchen to see if they've started on dinner. And let those two have their moment before I have to remind him that she's beneath him.
Right. You, they've started. It seems to be, again, some kind of, it's actually not that large of a meal. It doesn't look like they were expecting guests, to be honest, so there might be some scrambling to just make sure that there's a bit extra food there. But you have your standard, meat, vegetables, baked goods. It seems like it's probably has an extra 15 or so minutes before it's done. Whoever your head chef is, kind of as always, has you come over to taste the soup just to make sure it's just right. You always have the perfect insight about what spice needs to be added or a little less, or so he sees you, smiles, kind of lifts the spoon, as it is tradition. You've been doing this since you were a young girl. It seems just a little bit more time before dinner's ready.
Excellent. And has my brother mentioned whether or not his guest is staying?
Oh, no, I'm afraid she just showed up with him. They arrived together after his day at the studio. He did ask for an additional plate, but hasn't given us much more than that.
I'm gonna look around for the housekeeper. They're usually the people who know the most in houses like this.
Mm-hmm.
About what's going on, anyway.
Right, yeah. What's the name of your housekeeper?
Let's Miriam. Let's go with Miriam.
Miriam? Yeah, Miriam's had to be pulled in here just to make sure everything's in order. Again, they were not even necessarily expecting both of you to have a full meal. There was probably, they were still going to make something, but it wasn't going to be a typical dinner. It was going to be, just kind of like last night. It was just brother and sister. So she's been pulled, just maybe cleaning some extra fine, wear and stuff like that. You see her off over in the corner. She's put just an apron up over her dark, kind of typical outfit, and yeah.
Miriam?
Oh, yes, dear.
Who's that woman with my brother?
Oh, I believe that is Miss Coghill. They arrived together. I believe that she is one of the other actresses of the studio. Rosemary, I believe her name is.
I did gather that she was an actress. Personal impressions?
Oh, it's been a while since your brother brought someone home. She seems to treat your brother a bit more loosely than the other girls. When they walked in, he had made a comment about her shoes, and she had a quip right back to him. I was a bit shocked, expecting... You know how your brother can get sometimes when you two bicker.
Prideful.
Indeed. Yes, but no, he seemed to be a bit astounded. To be honest, I kind of like her. She seems like a girl that might be able to keep him under heel.
And I'm sure the family money has nothing to do with her interest.
She kind of shakes her head. Dear, that is a concern for all. Your parents, they certainly had many plans for you and Elijah. Marrying just anyone, bringing strangers into the home certainly was not one of them. Unfortunately, without your father's strong guidance, I'm afraid Elijah tends, well, you know his way.
I do. Thank you for the insight.
Oh, of course.
What was her name, did you say it was? Cogs?
Rosemary Coghill, dear.
Coghill. Alright. Thank you very much.
Of course. We'll have this out to you soon.
And I will head in to see my brother and his guest.
As he sees you exit the kitchen, he stands, pulls back his seat. Dear sister, please come join me. This is Rosemary. Rosemary, this is my sister Blanche. She stands up and kind of leans, curtsies towards you. Miss Asta, it is a true pleasure to meet you. Your brother has been grateful to allow me presence within your home, and, well, it is a very beautiful place you have here. He says that you are the one that sees all of the lovely flowers and greenery around the place. I must say, you do a spectacular job.
Thank you very much. You work for the
Mr. Hogan.
It's been so long in real life that I can't remember what kind of company they would have called it. If they called it a film company or... Right
now, they're just calling it a studio. It's a Imagidream is the name of the company. It's just kind of a studio.
You work at the studio, yes?
Oh, of course, yes. Mr. Hogan was very gracious to offer me a position to work for him. His vision is... Well, I have no doubt your brother has told you much. It's a very exciting place to work.
It certainly seems it. So what were you two talking about?
Elijah sits down. Honestly, we were just talking about today's work. Tobias, he found a new, what does he call it again, Rosemary? The glass that goes... A lens, dear. Yes, a new lens to put on front of that contraption. You will not believe how close this thing can get from so far away. Do you remember, Blanche, the looking glass that Father had? He who would have us look at birds occasionally. It is like that, able to see things from so far, but up close. We were doing some very fun things just with shadows today. We had this large lantern. He has these large glass things, and as he's kind of talking about the day, Rosemary's just kind of smiling, nodding along with him. And we would just stand, and he had us doing these strange things with our hands. He goes kind of towards the center of the table where the chandelier is shining down. You won't believe, I can make a bird with my hands. And he begins to show, it kind of looks like a bird if a 5-year-old was doing shadow puppets. Yeah, he kind of has it flapping its wings in the middle of the table. Rosemary, again, just kind of smiling, nodding. Yes, it was a fun day. Each day seems to be a new experience. So many stories he has to tell. But I'm sure we could. And strangely, Elijah kind of sits back as she begins to talk, not over him, but kind of redirecting the conversation. I'm sure we could talk on and all. Your brother says you've been out and around town. Something with with a library. Is that true?
Yes. I help oversee a library. I
Where's...
raise the money to fund it.
Right, and he mentioned it is in one of the lower districts. Recall me where is it located? I would if you can take care of a place of learning like that, as you do as these flowers in your backyard, it must be an amazing place. Where is it located?
It was in the blue collar district, right?
Yeah.
It's in the blue collar district.
Ah, I see. A bit of giving back, or?
A society is only as strong as its people. Only makes sense to me that they should have access to something to potentially better themselves.
Right. But being able to control the knowledge they receive is certainly helpful. Make sure they learn what we want them to learn, and nothing more. Absolutely. That is a wonderful thing. I heard that Mr. Hogan has made his time there. You provided him a few books. He was very invigorated with those concepts. So thanks for that.
Of course. She's stoic-faced about the whole thing. She kind of went very stoic when she implied that the whole point of her having, putting the library together was to control what people could learn, because it was not even remotely her intention. And she would be livid if somebody were doing that at the library.
Right. You see Rosemary finish her glass of wine and turns towards Elijah and just shoves the glass towards him. Dear, please, if you wouldn't mind, fetch me some more. Elijah strangely stands up, realizing the bottle's empty, and begins to make his way to the kitchen with her glass in hand.
Can I try to see if there's more to this woman than meets the eye? Because my brother didn't let anybody do that.
Right.
Boss him around and talk over him like that.
Yeah, I think you still had one more question based off your investigation on
I
her.
did.
Yeah.
I did, yes. Could I use it for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're trying to look past her, basically. You looking into the mist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, this is strange. You don't see anything. She's a sleeper.
Okay.
But there is something about her, and you're not sure necessarily. It's been a long time since you saw your mother in person. The way that she directs her tone towards Elijah feels very reminiscent to the way your mother would. A kind, gentle, but very direct tone. Your mother trained you very well to be a proper woman, to recognize the place you have and your place in society, where to go, but you also know that your mother was a strong woman, that your father led the family, but your mother led your father. And there's that kind of sense here.
I see. Okay, well, the moment my brother is out of the room, I would like to lean in slightly so that I can talk more directly to her and in a quieter tone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who you think you are, but if I see you speak to my brother in that manner again, you'll never set another foot in this house. Do you understand me?
She smiles. Blanche, I do understand. I apologize. Sometimes I do not remember my place. I've been touring within the city for quite a while, and I'm afraid I've become too comfortable with these kinds of dinners. No, I will make sure to keep my tongue. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I meant not to overstep my bounds.
I see that you remember them in the future.
She just smiles. Your brother
And I
returns,
will sit back again.
carrying a bottle of wine, but it's one of those special wines. You know, the ones that your father had locked away for special occasions, and like you and your brother were really had told each other we're not going to use these until like things like maybe the birth of a child or our wedding, or, you know, great big memorable moments. But here comes Elijah just carrying one of those nice bottles, probably a good 100-year-old fine little red wine there, smiling, like proud of it, walking into the room now with an extra glass because you're here.
Elijah,
Ah, yes, sister.
is that the wine that you promised for my engagement party?
He looks. Was it this one? There's so many bottles down there. I'm not sure.
I believe it was.
Hmm.
Her face is kind of visibly pained, like, why would you dip into the stocks you know we're not supposed to touch?
Right.
This is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, you see Elijah's cheeks start to get a bit red here. Like if he tells you yes and he walks away with his bottle now that he's shown it, he's gonna feel embarrassed about it, and it doesn't seem like this is gonna be a woman he wants to be embarrassed by. Like you see like his cheeks just starting to get a bit peach colored as he kind of looks over the wine.
Perhaps I'm mistaken.
He smiles, kind of looks over the label. You know, I'm getting that chicken ready, and I don't think this wine will go all that well with chicken. Noah. He sets it on the edge of the table. Dinner's about to be served, Rosemary. I think we can wait. They will serve drinks with the dinner. Just allow the wine to sit for a while longer. Rosemary looks towards you and just smiles. That is just fine, Elijah. Yes, please come. We were having such a lovely conversation. I look forward to the meal, and he does. Kind of taking a deep breath, pressing down his vest, you know, making sure he's all buttoned up and looking good. Sits down, pulls the napkin down, kind of lays it on his lap, and they begin to usher in the food. Chicken, potatoes, vegetables, you know, freshly baked bread, the whole deal. They, of course, cut up your portions, serve you individually, and yeah, you all begin to eat. Yeah, as that meal begins to go, let's hop back as we are on a boat. Nope, not yet. Not yet. Sorry,
no, I know
dogs.
they're on the boat, but they're getting drunk.
So on the boat, you're just now getting towards kind of the edge of the slums, and Georgie, Henry is passing in and out of consciousness. Like now that he's out here, just the work to get to the boat. You see Yasmin has him held up kind of against her chest. He's just laying there, his back against her, and his eyes will come forward and his head will kind of bob with the motion of the river, and then he'll just fall back.
Okay. Probably would have checked my bag to see what I've got on me to help, I don't want to say stitch up his wound, but just kind of like stab it off.
Right. I mean, you're not seeing any blood loss right now. You see the bruising. You see where he was cut. You're not seeing the blood loss. It's without being a doctor, it's hard to tell what the most concerning thing is here. You can definitely investigate to look into his wounds, see what might be the best case here, or you can just try to change the game and use whatever you have and just see what happens. You know, rub some cream on it and hope for the best.
Yeah. Shove some herbs in the wound or whatever.
That's what everybody
Let's see
does.
what happens. It's like, here, have some of this.
It might be poisonous. I don't know.
Let's find out.
That's what happened last time.
Yeah, actually, she'll probably do that just because she's not wanting him to suffer this pain for much longer.
Right.
So she'll do what she can, regardless of whether.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the way you phrased that.
Well, for science,
I'll end his
alright?
pain soon.
Yeah, so are you
Hey,
bringing
of
out like the
course.
same cream that you used on Eric's antler wound? Or just a whole
Sure.
lot more of it? Because that was just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess that's what I've got. Why
Okay.
not?
Perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, let's change the game.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna see if this works. Use opportunist. I have the cream, so always prepared. And it worked once, so surely it must do something this time. Ambition. Oh no.
Oh no.
Hmm.
This cream works amazingly. Yes.
Or not at all.
No, the cream works. It put him out of his pain.
Jesus,
It's hard
it went
to
too
moan
far.
in pain when you don't have any breath anymore.
When
Well-
you're choking on a root, you really can't do much to scream.
So, I mean, you gotta coat your hand in this cream. And before you're even able to apply it to him, like, you feel that strange sensation all over your hand. It's like a mixture of heat and pins and needles. And you start to notice your hand is swelling.
I'm gonna dunk it in the river.
Yeah. Go ahead and just take the risk to get all of it off, because like you're starting to feel the tops of your fingers. Every heartbeat is just beating very, very rapidly, almost painful.
Cool.
Now-
Alright.
You can do it. Make sure to rinse.
What is this? You said take the risk, or was it?
Yeah, this is a take the risk.
Rinse it real good. Hey, there you go.
You douse it just in time to get, like, you see this grayish type lotion rinse from your hand, and you leave your hand in the cool water for a bit longer, and you pull it out, and it's still a bit swollen right around like the base of your thumb, right in the palm area. Your fingers kind of go down to size, but you take a moment, you just look in your bag. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in there. Maybe smaller doses next time.
Just
Yeah.
don't stick it around willy-nilly.
Welp.
Eric, I mean, you
Work.
see the whole thing. Yasmin looks at Georgie too, like, what? I don't know. You had that cream applied to you, and it seemed to do okay things. You also had a root shoved into your throat
Yeah.
earlier today.
Yeah.
Definitely seemed, maybe Georgie's bag isn't the go-to for medical.
Yeah. We might want to
assistance.
reconsider in the future, but
Right.
you know.
I was not meant to be a healer. Just saying.
With some time, the boat ride ends. Basically, you're able to get into the West Slums and kind of help carry Henry back to the Sova stronghold. As the sun is now getting lower, just about to be set, the fog that was here when you had left is a lot thicker. And as you get closer to the Silver Stronghold, you're only seeing maybe 6-7 feet ahead of you. It seems to be very thick and just surrounding the stronghold. Yasmin notices this, and even though she's doing everything she can to carry Henry, you see her hand go down to her pistol. She kind of looks around.
I will take over trying to help carry the dude along. She's the one with the pistol, plus it's just a gentlemanly thing to do,
Right.
in Eric's estimation. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I will take control of, moving him around if she wants to cover us.
Yeah, she does. She pulls her gun. They're close. It always gets like this when they're near. All right. Stay close to the walls. I know these streets. I don't need to see them. She begins to lead you all through. As you get closer to the edge of the building, you feel like you can hear movement, shuffling across the street, in the building next door. It's not talking, it's just movement. She kind of guides you to the front door, opens it. The inside is lit towards the inner part. The hallways are well lit, but not the exterior, the entryway. There's a few of the Sova standing there. As soon as you enter, they run over, grab Henry, and carry him off to the medics area. One of them runs to go fetch Mother Nora. Yasmin calls out to Taryn, brings him over, looks to the two of you, looks outside, closes the door. Well, I can't thank you two enough for getting Henry here. I know your friends stayed by. I would understand if you need to return. I do swear to you that I will handle my father if that needs to be done. But this, and she references the fog outside, no. It would not be safe for me to leave now, not when they're so close. I don't know what my father has planning. But I'm not comfortable with this. I need some time. Some time to think. Think of what my father said. You're welcome to stay here for the night if you wish. A cot will be made available for you. We will have meals. If you leave, just be safe. These things, they can travel a lot quieter than you would think. I guess if you don't need to breathe, or your heart doesn't beat, that might help being silent. Taryn here, and she references to this black man, maybe in his 30s. He has a large rifle on his back, one with a scope that might remind you of a certain body falling off a roof not that long ago. He looks. If you'll need anything from myself or the Sova, you simply ask. You have done more for the West Slums than I have done myself, and for that I am grateful. We could use fighters. They will be coming. We are safe here, but, well, my men are falling short. And when each of my men die, they only strengthen the numbers of the enemies. If you can stay, it would be an honor to fight by your side.
I wish I could say I was much of a fighter.
You are the one that climbed into the well. to show the water was cleansed.
Yeah, that was me.
You injured your leg doing that, did you not?
I did.
You are a fighter then. You pushed through that. Fighter does not need to know how to shoot weapons. It needs to know how to survive. You know how to survive. Show that to my people. Show that to the civilians of the West Slums. Remind them that death is not what stands outside. Life is what we hold within. That is what we must fight for.